In this video I'm going to show you how to create a Jimi Hendrix chord progression in 3 steps. Let's get started. Step number 1. Finding the right chords is not that hard once you've learned how to do it. I'm going to show you a simple trick how you can find all the chords in a key. The first thing you do is you have to decide what your first major chord should be. In this case it's a C major, but you can pick any major chord you want. Once you've decided what your first chord is, you have to find the root note for the chord on the low E string. And the root note for the chord C major is obviously the note C. And the note C is on fret 8 on the low E string. Now you have 2 more major chords in the key of C major. And it's really easy to find them. Your first note is on fret 8 on the low E string because it's the note C, and your first chord is a C major chord. The next possible major chord is right under your first chord or your first note, right under on the next string, and that's the note F. So the chords C major and F major are in the key of C major. First chord C, second chord F. The next possible chord in the key of C major is just 2 frets higher. 1, 2. That's the note G. So the next possible chord in the key of C major is the chord G major. So the 3 possible major chords in the key of C major are C, F, and G. The next thing you want to know is what are your possible minor chords in that key. Absolutely no problem. The note C is on fret 8 and you just have to go 3 frets back. 1, 2, 3. That's the note A. So your first possible minor chord in the key of C major is A minor. The next chord right under your first chord on the A string, that's the note D. So your second possible minor chord in the key of C major, D minor. And the next one, just 2 frets higher, 1, 2, that's the note E, so it's an E minor. That's a really easy way to find out what chords are in a key. You decide your first major chord, you find the root note for your first major chord on the low E string. The next possible major chord is right under your first one on the next string, and the next possible one is just 2 frets higher. And to find the minor chords in that key, just go 3 frets back, do the same thing. The first one is on the low E string, the next one just under your first one and 2 frets higher. In the key of C major we have a C major, F major and G major, A minor, D minor and E minor. But you don't need all of those chords to create a Jimi Hendrix chord progression. In the intro I played a C major to A minor, to E minor, to F major. Let's take a closer look to that and let's go to step number 2. Jimi Hendrix didn't play bar chords to play rhythm guitar. He used triads and small bits of chords to play his style. I'm going to show you how to play the chords in the style of Jimi Hendrix. The most common way to play a major chord in the style of Jimi Hendrix is this one. Your thumb is playing the low E string, your ring finger is playing the D string, your middle finger is playing the G string, and your index finger is playing the B and the high E string. That's a C major chord because your thumb is on fret 8 on the low E string, there's the note C. Your ring finger is on fret 10 on the D string, it's also the note C. Your middle finger is on fret 9 on the G string, and your index finger is on fret 8 on the B and the high E string. That's a C major chord in the style of Jimi Hendrix. And you can move that chord around. That's a C major, that would be an A major or a D major. It doesn't matter, it works all over the fretboard. So our first chord is a C major. The next chord is an A minor, and this is how Jimi Hendrix played a minor chord. Your thumb is also playing the low E string, your ring finger is also playing the D string, and your index finger is playing the G, the B and the high E string, like a little bar. This chord shape is also movable all over the fretboard. A minor, G minor, C minor, but we need A minor. So the first chord is G major, the next chord is A minor, the next chord would be an E minor. Basically that's the same thing like the A minor, but you don't have to use your ring finger all the time, because your ring finger is on the same note like your thumb. That's the same note, that's an E and that's a E. E minor, and the last chord is a F major. And back to C major. That's the whole chord progression. C major, A minor, E minor, F major, and back to C major. We are almost done, one step is left, step number 3. Playing between chords is a very important thing when you want to sound like Jimi Hendrix, but it's not that hard. Our first chord is a C major chord. And over a C major chord you can always play the A minor pentatonic, and that's basically what I did. So you strum the C major chord and you start with, for example, the first position A minor pentatonic. And when you play in the style of Jimi Hendrix, there's a lot of double stops. But let's see. The first thing is a slide from fret 5 to 7 on the A string. And there's our first double stop on fret 5 on the D string and fret 5 on the G string. So slide from 5 to 7 and double stop on fret 5 on the D and the G string. C major, slide and double stop. Right after that there's the next double stop. You bar fret 5 on the G and the B string with your index finger, strum those two strings and hammer on fret 7 on the G string and pull off. You bar fret 5 on the G and the B string, strum those strings and hammer on fret 7 on the G string. And it's important that the B string still rings out. You don't want to kill the B string. Let it ring and pull off. So the next double stop is index finger on fret 7 on the G string and middle finger on fret 8 on the B string. And you hammer on fret 9 on the G string And you lift your ring finger up and play the G and the B string again. You can hammer on, or you can just put down your ring finger on fret 9 on the G string. Next is fret 10 on the D string. So it's and that whole thing again. Alright, so once again. Fret 9 on the D string and the double stop again. So far. That's all we play over the C major chord. The next chord is A minor, and over A minor you can play the A minor pentatonic again, no problem. What I did, I played in position 3 of the A minor pentatonic. You bar fret 10 on the E, A and the D string with your index finger. And it's double stops again, right? So you hit the E and the A string, and with your ring finger you play fret 12 on the low E string. And back to fret 10. And you do the same thing on the A and the D string. And after that you play a hammer-on pull-off on the A string, hammer-on from fret 10 to 12 and pull-off back from 12 to 10. Right? And back to fret 12 on the low E string. So it's that's all what happens over the A minor chord. The next chord is E minor, and over the E minor chord you can play the E minor pentatonic. So we're following the chords with the pentatonic. So the chord is E minor, and the lick goes like this. You bend fret 14 on the G string a whole step, you release it, and there's a pull off back to fret 12. Bend the whole step up, release it, and pull off to fret 12. Next is fret 14, back to 12 on the G string again. Next is fret 14 on the D string, back to fret 12 on the G string, and fret 14 on the D string again. The next chord is F major. You just hit the F major chord and back to C major, and you can play all over again. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and now grab your guitar and play some Jimi Hendrix stuff. It's a lot of fun. And don't forget, practice at your own speed.